Hey, what's going on, everyone? Another episode of our Facebook Live. Tom and I, we've been missing for about a week, but now we are back here. Unfortunately, Tom couldn't make it tonight, but we have our other partner, our Canadian partner, Jayden Haywood. And today, Jayden and I, we have something really, really special that we are going to be discussing. It's mainly Jayden's going to be doing all the talking, and he is going to explain about his new opportunity that he has up in the Greater Toronto area. So, without further ado, most of you guys know me, but if you don't, I'm Dr. Noah Liu. I am based off in Peoria, Illinois. We are, group practice here on multiple locations, and I'm a general dentist and love real estate. So, with that being said, Jayden, floor is yours.
Thank you, Noel. I feel like I'm a frequent guest of the show at this point. Thank you very much. I love getting on here and talking to this ecosystem. There's a lot of current partners that are a member of this ecosystem that have invested in some of our other cash flowing projects in the city of Toronto. But I'm really, really excited to talk about our new deal that we have today. I plan on talking about what makes this deal very unique, some of the returns on this deal, why it's important to get in right now. And then I'd be happy to open up my contact information so that members of this community can reach out to me directly. So, as you know, I have been featured on this platform at least a half a dozen times. Certainly in the last half a year, I bet you I've been on here 3 or 4 times talking about our multifamily developments. So, Noel, thank you very much again for having me on here.
No, absolutely, Jayden. Before we dive in, can you give us a little bit of background of what are some of the projects we did on this platform, and where do we stand now with those projects, and what's this new project coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been branding myself as the missing middle developer in this group. And for those of you unaware with that term, missing middle development is the development that plays between single family homes and large 500 unit towers. In the province of Ontario, which is the largest province in Canada, missing middle housing is exactly that. It is missing. Right now in the city of Toronto, there is a housing crisis. So those of you that are willing to provide housing units are heavily rewarded with government policy, government rebates, incentives, and tax breaks. So for the last 5 years, I have been converting single family homes in highly desirable Toronto neighborhoods to multiplexes. And we consider them commercial real estate because they're over 5 units. So for the last couple of years on this panel, and with this group, we have brought a Gerrard Street, which is an Upper Beaches project, to life. We have brought a Gerrard East project to life. We have brought a Riverdale project to life, a Leslieville, and now we're talking about the East Danforth. For those members that are not Canadian, those are all very prominent high end neighborhoods in the city of Toronto that are all accessed by subways, public transportation. For those of you that are Canadian, those neighborhoods do not need any introduction. Leslieville, Riverdale, East Danforth, and the Upper Beaches are very prominent, affluent neighborhoods in the city of Toronto that a lot of people want to live in, but unfortunately, affordability has made owning real estate in that neighborhood impossible for most families. So, our thesis and our business model is converting single family homes to very livable, large spaces that either consist of 2 or 3 bedroom that command very high rents in high appreciation neighborhoods. And because we're building new construction, they are not governed by rent control. They all have transit scores of 95 or 95 plus, and that's on a scale of out of 100. And they are all connected to the communities that Torontonians want to live in.
Hey, Torontonians, I love that word. So let's talk about this project. Let's start diving right in. When did you guys acquire this land, and what's going to happen? What is the time frame we're looking at? Let's start with that.
Yeah, so the acquisition story is a story of success because we bought this under market or under asking. And for those of you familiar with the city of Toronto real estate, that is like getting something in New York City or LA in a downtown Toronto core or a downtown metro core under asking. It never happens. We believe that we caught the market sleeping on this one. We acquired it about 60 days ago, and we are closing on the property in 30 days. So right now we are opening up a very unique co-investment opportunity to the members of this community to join me and invest with me at my level in ownership of this property before we close it. We bought this property for under asking at $1 million Canadian. For Americans, that's about $700,000 with today's current exchange rate.
Wow.
And our plan right now is to convert this single family home in East Danforth neighborhood to a 5 unit purpose built rental consisting of 2 and 3 bedrooms. Because it's new construction in the city of Toronto, that means it's not governed by rent control, which is a
Hmm.
real plus for your passive investors out there, because you always want positive cash flow, and you want to make sure that you're holding an asset that doesn't have a rent ceiling. So that's our game plan with this property.
What's the rents like right now for something like this? What are they going for as in comp?
Once it's built,
No, like in comps, like around the area, comparables. What does it go for?
well, it's a good question. Let me pull this up for you right here. So this is actually our appraisal of the property once construction. So our comparison approach is for $3.9 million, or a little over $3.9 million.
Mm.
The income approach is $4.14 million, and our market as if complete is 4 million. Now, I'm not sure if that's what you were asking. I think you were asking what is the value of the property before we make any renovations.
That's one. The other one was I was asking was what would be the rental rate for each unit? Like what would be the comparable? But that's great
Uh,
info because that is something which I was going to touch base on my next follow up question.
yeah, so in this neighborhood right now, we are getting anywhere from, I'm going to say, $3 a square foot to $4.15 a square foot. So for those of you that can see this right here, those are our rental assumptions. Um, when this thing is all built, we should be getting about $220,000 in gross income. So assume you're getting about 35 to $4,500 a unit per month.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Okay, cool, cool. And what are the size of these units, Jaden?
Yeah, so that's another great question. So right now we are heavily focused on building 2 and 3 bedroom units
Oh,
because they command the most amount of rent. These units, I actually have some floor plans right here that I'd like to share with you. These units are fluctuating between 950 square feet to about 1,000 square feet. So what we've done with this project is really cool. Our lower level and ground floor suites occupy the entire floor. However,
wow.
our top floor, or sorry, our top 2 suites are actually split level suites. So split level, our thesis is that these are going to be much more desirable units to rent, and they will beat out the surrounding condominiums and single family homes. So these are all over 1,000 square feet. They boast private terraces and private outdoor areas. They are 2 bed, 2 bath units that are bright and spacious.
Nice.
Yeah. So we love this neighborhood. This is the first time that we have built off of a major street. Our general investing direction has predominantly been buying along major streets and major arteries in the city of Toronto because we've wanted to capitalize on transit. This one, however, is on a boulevard. And by virtue of its neighborhood and the tree lined streets and the other big developed homes around it, we think that we're going to get a better tenant class, and we think that we're going to get higher rents.
um, are you going to dive into the investment aspect of this deal?
Yeah. Yeah. But
No.
before I do,
Yeah.
I want to tell people If I only have a couple of minutes of everyone's time, I want to dive into what makes this deal incredibly special.
Let's do it.
This deal, it's our fifth project with this group, which is just incredible because it felt like I was only on here like a year and a half ago talking about our first development.
Right.
So we are successfully moving forward in the right direction. We are getting financing for all these jobs based on our experience. But what makes this project incredibly special and incredibly lucrative for an investor are two major things. Number one, it's the largest piece of land we have ever acquired in the city of Toronto by virtue of its frontage. It is a 30-foot lot. That is the biggest land that we've ever acquired. It has its own private driveway. What does this mean? This means that we can cantilever. It's a construction term that just means that I can extend my footprint over top of our initial building structure to give us more desirable units. That's a big, big plus. The second thing that makes this property so unique is its proximity to our two ongoing active job sites. So I want to repeat myself. This property is nestled within a kilometer of two, well, and for your American viewers, a half mile between two of our active job sites. This is going to result in a shorter development timeline and reduce construction costs. So because we're able to share trades, share construction materials, and essentially be able to drive to site within a couple of minutes, we believe that there is a strategic advantage in the acquisition of this property. This is our most coveted piece of land that we have acquired to date because of its proximity to our other job sites.
Wow.
So let's get into the numbers. There is our rendering right there. You'll see the single family home on either side of it. I've talked about our business plan at length, but just to repeat myself, we like to go in and buy wartime bungalows that have good foundations, not dilapidated buildings that need to be torn down. This is considered a major renovation in the eyes of the city, which is important because that helps speed up our building permit process and it allows us to grandfather some building code into this property, which just reduces our construction cost. However, it's considered new construction in the eyes of the province. And that's important because new construction does not pay tax and it does not pay, or sorry, it doesn't have a rental ceiling on it, which means that we can raise the rent to keep up with market trends every single year. This is our return offering. We are assuming a 237% total return on investment, an average annual return of 47%. Now, this is assuming a sale that occurs in year five, but just for full transparency, this is a project that we are planning on holding for long-term cash flow. It's always for sale, but it's never on the market. And that's one philosophy that we've done really, really well by. We like to make sure that our properties are always for sale, but not listed for sale. So at any given time when the market is ready and we can transact on this in a fast time and make a good return for our partners, we will do so. We're not opposed to sales, but it's not on the MLS. Our annual operating return on equity starts at 8.8 and gets up to 12% in year one. And our cash on cash operating returns fluctuates from about 5.25 to about 8% in year one. The location of our property is probably the most important thing. I listen to these real estate people that say that you cannot build a good enough building to get out of a bad neighborhood. This property right here is in a great neighborhood in Danforth Village. For members of our Canadian viewers, just please Google Danforth Village to understand rental rates, proximity to schools, proximity to public transportation, and local amenities. It is a walk score of 97. and a transit score over 80, which I'm really surprised it's that low given its proximity to the subway station. We're about 100 feet away from the subway station and just down the street from a major Toronto hospital. This is in the neighborhood of all the top school zones as well. So we believe that this is the best location that we've ever acquired to date. Toronto's market is always and has always been red hot. Even as markets around the US cool, as we're seeing that's happening right now in Florida and some of the other sunshine or sun belt states,
Mm-hmm.
the Toronto market stays hot. The Toronto market stays hot because we have a housing supply issue. Right now, low supply, high demand. All the macroeconomics are there. The average two-bedroom rent is $3,100. The average three-bedroom rent is $4,100. Keep in mind what we're building is two and three bedrooms. Population growth, 41% over the next 20 years. So the city of Toronto is expected to continue its boom by virtue of its immigration and migration policies. We are lengthening and expanding the footprint, as I mentioned before, by cantilevering over our private driveway. All of our units are going to be over 1,000 square feet. They are going to boast private outdoor terraces, and they are connected to the neighborhood. Simply put, we are building a better product than our competitors. All of the apartment builders and condo builders in this neighborhood that are building these towers, we have a better product for them. Ours are ground oriented. They don't require an elevator. They each have separate entrances and exits, and they are in desirable neighborhoods that people want to live in. This is an overview of what it is that we're building. I know that I've already shared this on the screen, but I thought that I'd get into it again because we believe that these layouts are incredibly unique, and we think that this optimizes for quality of life of our tenants. These split level suites are something new that we've never done before. So typically, every single unit, there's been a unit on every single floor. But we've decided to switch it up and go with a more popular layout because we've been able to stretch the square footage for each unit. These split level suites are back to back, and they will allow our tenants to have two stories. And we think a better family design for two and three bedroom layouts. The garden suite. The garden suite's going to be over 1,000. Now, for those viewers that are not familiar with the terminology garden suite, laneway suite, ADU, it's essentially a private residence in the backyard of the property. These are the hottest trend right now in the city of Toronto, and we are on the forefront of building them. We are one of the first developers in the city of Toronto to build these. We remain at the forefront. Our name and reputation now in the space is massive. But garden suites and laneway suites right now have allowed us to go out and build a completely separate living space for about $400,000 that gets about $45,000 a year in rents. So for all of your investment minded individuals out there, if you're looking for passive cash flow, hands free cash flow, what you want to be looking for is something that is newly built, has a warranty on it, not rent controlled, and you can earn 10% cash on cash return. So imagine being able to buy and build something for $400,000 that gets you $45,000 a year in cash flow. That's unlevered. That's before we put this into a mortgage. So that's why garden suites and laneway suites have been such a lucrative investment for us and our partners to date. And then it's a two-story laneway suite. We believe these layouts are the best in the city of Toronto right now. And we think that these are going to get incredible rental rates when they are built in 20 months. So mention of 20 months is important because like all investments are time specific, timeline specific. This is our current development timeline based on our experience and our ability to build these things faster than we used to historically. So right now we have acquired the property. We are closing in about 30 days. We are bringing in the last $400,000 Canadian. So I should probably just take this time to say that we are 60 to 70% raised on this deal. We are looking for the last $400,000 from this group. $400,000 will get you 40% ownership of this multiplex.
Wow.
We are already We have our permit drawings in hand. When we close on it, we're going to be applying for permits. So we look to speed up and expedite this development process. But it takes us about 18 months to develop and to build this. Stage three is operations when we start to get rental income in and we refinance out once it's all said and done. We are assuming a sale and final distribution in year 5 or year 6. There is our sources and uses for our LP equity. So again, we are bringing in limited partners. We act as the general partner. Here's the advantage for everybody that's looking for passive real estate investments. You don't have to get a mortgage. You don't have to have a high personal net worth in order to qualify for a mortgage. We focus on doctors and dentists because they make a lot of money and they're looking for tax efficient vehicles to invest in. This will give you an opportunity to shelter some tax, shelter some of your earnings and avoid paying taxes this year. As you know, Noel, your first return of capital is tax free. So if
Correct.
an individual were to give us $100,000, that $100,000 comes back tax free. The remaining comes back in a very tax efficient vehicle, which is a limited partnership. These are our hard costs and construction costs. You know, it's not an overly exciting line item to talk about, but we are going to build this thing for about $3.2 million. That's land, hard cost, and soft cost. And I've already shared with everybody what the appraisal is once it's built. We already have a third party appraisal company that's valued this at $4 million. So we are seeing an instant equity bump of $800,000 in as little as 20 months. The team, I think that everybody here is comfortable with me. I've been in the energy efficiency space and government rebates and incentive space for 16 years. We have now built 5 or developed 5 of these multifamily very successfully. We have earned a name for ourselves in the industry and the space as reliable experts that know what they're doing. My construction partner, Dennis, here on the right hand side, has been in the custom home space for decades now. And now he and I have developed a number of these multifamily. So it's been great working with him. Paul, an elementary school friend of mine, comes from private equity background. He's worked with very large development companies, and now we are lucky enough to get his expertise and eyes on our deals. Cash flow and return summary. I think I mentioned that our cash on cash returns in our first year of operation are fluctuating between 5.25% to 8%. So that's what our investors can look to make on their cash on cash returns. And the return on equity that includes principal paydown starts at 8.8% in the first year of occupancy, which is about 20 months from today, and goes up to 12%. And those numbers just continue to go up the longer that we hold the asset. Our plan with any investor is to return about 60% of their capital once we are built. So in 18 months, we plan on returning 60% of your capital. Then we will give you a preferred return of 8% for all capital not returned. This last page gets into the financial assumptions. It's a little tedious to get into line by line, but it breaks out rent per square foot. It breaks out our expenses and our assumptions for construction financing and permanent financing. Um, Savvy investors that are familiar with Canadian real estate deals put this deal up against any deal right now in Canada, and I promise you it outperforms just about all of them. Our fees, how we make money as developers, is right here. And this is something that we're very proud of. We're proud because we're incredibly light on our fees. So we have to do two things as the general partner to make money. The first is we have to make sure that you've earned your 8% return on the capital that you gave us. The second thing we need to do is return all of your capital. Once we have hit those two hurdles, then we do a profit share. That profit share is 70-30. 70 in favor of you, 30 in favor of us. So until we return all of your capital and we've gotten you your 8% return, us as general partners don't make any money. The fees that we make are a structuring and placement fee of 4%. This 4% is a one-time fee on all money in. So on the $400,000 we are trying to raise from this group, that is a $16,000 one-time fee. The development management fee, that is a one-time fee of 2.7%. All told, I believe this is a $40,000 one-time fee. And then we have an asset management fee of 0.75, and that is only on the equity of the development at any given time. So we are very, very light on our fees. We are very aggressive. As general partners, we take on all of the risk of the debt. We are the personal guarantors on the loan, and it is and this is a co-investment. So I know I've said this once, but I want to repeat myself. You are co-investing with me. You're putting your money in and buying the LP units at the same price that I buy the LP units, and I take all the risk. Um, and
Jayden, I love that
that's
what he just did right now because, in all openness and in all frankness here, this is crystal clear because this is where a lot of questions come up, and many people they never go down that deep. And just for comparison reasons, 0.75 on an asset management fee, that's really really low compared to some of the other assets that we've seen and some of the other assets that we were part of in other deals. So I feel like this is a very very fair proposition from you guys. Like not saying like as being a partner of you, but just comparing to other deals that Tom and I were in. So
yeah. Thank you. Listen, that anybody that has experience with private equity, anybody that's looked at these deals or enough of these deals, ask yourself, how does the general partner get paid? What are the fees?
hmm
We are very, very light on our fees. We are very fair. This is a co-investment opportunity. I'm looking for people that want to co-invest with me in a private placement. This is not on MLS. This is not broadcasted. I don't have exempt market dealers going out and raising money for this deal. This is a private deal that you are investing with me. We have successfully done this in this group. There are members of this group that have partnered up with us across a number of projects successfully. I am looking for the last $400,000 to finish this deal up. We are getting all of our funds in by May 9th, but I have LP agreements to review. I have more detailed documents that I would be happy to share with members of this community. And I'm here to answer questions as always. So, yeah, look, this is the deal that I love because I'm putting about $300,000 of my own money in this deal. It's a deal that I'm comfortable and confident in bringing to this group because, as you know, my reputation is everything. And there's pretty much all I
that's
can say
awesome.
about that. I mean, like, yeah, look, I love the neighborhood. I lived and I invest in the neighborhood. Um, I'm very bullish on what it is that we're building. I know that these kind of products are in very high demand. I think there's tremendous upside. And like always, we have done everything in our power to minimize the risk.
100%. So if anybody is interested, is contact Jayden. His Facebook is at Jayden Haywood, and Jayden will be more than happy to schedule, like a call or a text or a Zoom, whatever works, And if you guys are up there in Canada, Toronto, especially if you're local, definitely drive by, check it out, call up Jayden, and he can definitely have you go it and set you up with a little tour, as well as the existing two other properties that under construction or is almost complete. Is that almost complete, Jayden?
Yeah, we have four ongoing projects actually.
Four.
One of them,
Okay.
yeah, four. This is our fifth project. This is our fifth project. One of them is gonna be tenanted by May 5th.
Oh wow.
So like we're like done. We have occupancy permits. And then the others are at various stages. But again, the reason I love this deal is because of its proximity, Noel, to our other active job
Right.
sites. It's really really cool when you can build all in the same community because there's a lot of efficiencies that you gain by your kind of economies of scale here.
Hey, so the last time I was up there, I was with you at the Gerard location. Was that fair to say that it would be a walking kind of distance?
Um, I would say it's about you wouldn't want to walk. It's about 3 miles,
Oh,
miles.
3 miles. Okay,
Yeah, 3 miles, four
from the
miles.
Gerard.
It's not
Okay.
far. It's not the subway is quick. I mean, you jump on the subway and you probably be there in about 10 minutes. But no, this one is right beside our Coxwell location, and it's right beside our Jones Avenue location,
Oh, got
and
it.
it's about a mile and a half away from our Little India, which is Gerard East, Gerard and Greenwood.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, we're really excited about this job. This project's going to be another amazing project of ours. I'm personally invested into this one. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
Toronto's a
excited to
great
bring this to
market.
the group. Yeah,
Toronto's a
listen,
great, great market.
it's hot. Toronto is not going anywhere. There are some incredible federal rebates and incentives right now. Like the policy right now to build purpose-built rentals is
Hmm.
Canada-wide. This opportunity to strike is now. They will close up some of these funding and financing programs in the next couple of years. So get in while you still can.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Well, Jaden, let's land the plane. I think it was a pretty good presentation, and if there's anything else, we can definitely, help you out with any questions, any concerns, and make sure if you are interested, like Jaden said, this is almost getting sold out. So get in the market, and let's get your money working for you.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. With that being said, everybody have a great weekend and a great rest of the night, and we will see you back next week around the same time.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, Jaden.